what I found that I could do is I could make one friend, and I could entertain that one friend. And I guess that was what made me gravitate towards the short story form. I think short stories and poems are in competition for like the least interesting, entertaining things in American culture. And you know, most of the people that really like them are kind of like weird, losery type people. So I loved that form, and I loved the idea that there were like maybe 15 other people that had read my story in, you know, pocket-lint journal, and they were kind of into it, and that made me really happy. I didn't necessarily have to know those people, but I felt like I was writing to that one friend, and you know, like making contact with that one person, and that is the thing that made me happy. Recently, I wrote a novel. I didn't write it as a book to be necessarily entertaining, although I really enjoyed writing it. But I had a great publishing house in Random House, and they had an amazing publicity machine. And one of the things that happened is that a lot of people read that novel, and it wasn't fun for me, because there were a lot of people who read it that were like, it was like that circle of cool people at the lunch table. I didn't want them to have read it, and they didn't like it very much, and they didn't like me either, because I was like that. Somehow at their lunch table with the cheerleaders, there's that creepy guy that plays Dungeons and Dragons and picks his nose. And how did he get into our midst? And in fact, occasionally I'll glance at my Amazon reviews, and there'll be something like, "This was the worst book I ever read." And I so much would love, I mean, her name is Susan Bowen. She lives in San Francisco, but I haven't found her address. But I would like to get her money back, and if I could, I would like to erase the memory of having read my book from her mind. I would like her not to know who I was or what my book was about, and never have read it at all. I don't want her as, I mean, I guess the publishing of this novel, the discovering of the larger audience is like one of those you know, loss of innocence moments. And I mean, it's such a loss of innocence, I feel like a Paris Hilton at this point, because I feel the weight of those people, those sort of judgmental and displeased and unentertained people, every time I sit down to write. And every time I sit down to write, I think, this is the worst book I've ever read. And so part of me has, I mean, since the publication of my novel, a big part of my writing life has been a process of trying to escape those people and escape the world of entertainment and get back to that one person out there that is going to like what I'm doing, even if nobody else does. And so, I haven't told Random House this yet. They'll be so pleased. But really, I think the only way that I can continue to write is to escape the world of entertainment and to get that completely out of my mind. Because I not only am I not interested in dancing for the king, but I don't think I can dance for the king and make him spare my life for another night. And I guess that's okay.